Continuing, this is Joni Rotten here, and continuing reading Rotten Reads, a paper published 20 years ago, 2003. This is a section on neglect and adverse side effects. Let's continue reading. Whoops. Adverse effects of drugs represent a major public health problem, with recent estimates indicating that 1.5 million Americans are hospitalized and 100,000 die each year, making drug-related adverse effects one of the leading causes of death. That came out in 1998. 51% of drugs, of approved drugs, have serious adverse effects that are not detected prior to approval. It has been suggested that the system for monitoring adverse effects in the United States and elsewhere is wholly inadequate. For example, neither the Food and Drug Administration in America, nor the Medicines Control Agency in Britain collect routine data on the prevalence and consequences of adverse effects. It has long been known that patients with severe mental disorders have much reduced life expectancy. But there has been little attention until recently to the possibility that some of this risk may be associated with drug treatment. A recent study found that death rates in people on long-term treatment with commonly used antipsychotics were 3 to 6 times higher than patients taking medication for other non-fatal medical conditions. Lifestyle factors such as high rates of smoking are likely to account for part of these high death rates, but the study appears to confirm other evidence that suggests that antipsychotics can induce fatal cardiac arrhythmias. This propensity has been known for many years, but drugs such as doperidol and thardazobadizine, I don't know how to say those words, which have been in widespread use for decades, have only recently been withdrawn due to their cardiotoxicity. There is also growing concern about the side effects of newer atypical antipsychotics, especially the tendency to cause severe obesity and diabetes, and they have also been associated with adverse cardiac events. Some companies have been accused of minimizing the adverse effects of their products. Eminent psychopharmacologists claim that drug companies attempted to impede publication of the adverse effects of Halocin and sulpiride. Some medications I can't say again. You know what it makes me think of right there? I'm sorry, I have to pause for a second. I love this guy, Jamiroquai, some group from back in the day. And I remember an interview with him, and he says, the guy says, "Why did you pick that name?" And he said, "I don't know. I thought it would be funny. Parents would ask their kid, what CD you want for Christmas, and they'd say Jamiroquai." And he had this little idea of parents trying to spell that or find that, in the stores. And I don't know if that's true or not. That's just that's what he said in the interview. It could have been, he was just kind of joking. But anyway, it's always kind of stuck with me. Whenever I read these ridiculous words, I think, is that why they pick these words? So when you can't say it or spell it, it just makes it more aloof. It makes it somehow, why do they? I heard pharmaceutical companies did get asked that once, and I heard an answer was that they like to add letters like X and Q and U because it made the medicine name stand out. And then I challenged that, because then I thought to myself, well, if they all have X's and U's and Q's in them, then they all kind of start to blend together, and you don't really know one from the other. So I don't think that was necessarily true either. Anyway, both of those things could be. So whenever I read these sulpiride, I don't know. Why name it something that is it so you're the only one that can say it, so you sound smart? I don't know. Anyway, back to the article. Bodenheimer also describes 2 cases in which companies have attempted to prevent the publication of papers about adverse effects. And in the UK, solicitors for the Serox users group are currently considering whether to launch a lawsuit against GlaxoSmithKline for failing to warn patients about the discontinuation reactions experienced after stopping their best-selling drug, Serotax or paroxetine. All right, next I'll come back with the next segment. I think these are very interesting. Don't you? Watch yourself.